So good evening, everyone. This is good idea to put my microphone on, don't you think? Sorry about that, folks. This is a meeting of the Duxbury Board of Appeals. This is an unusual night for us to meet. We typically meet on the second and fourth Thursdays. Because of the nature of the application before us right now, we've scheduled a special meeting because some of the timeline rules are a little bit different for this application than the types that we typically review. But we have one matter on tonight. I'm going to introduce the public hearing notice. To be clear, the 5 people who are going to be sitting on this case, as a rule, are seated at this table. We do have an alternate member online who hopefully will be able to continue attending these in case we inadvertently lose somebody along the way, but we'll go through all those niceties in a little while. So I'm going to open this public hearing on an application for a comprehensive permit, read the public hearing notice. I'm going to go through correspondence we've received on the application, and then I'm going to turn it over to the applicant to introduce the project to the board. So the Board of Appeals will hold a hybrid public meeting in the Mural Room at 878 Tremont Street on Thursday, January 15th at 7:30 to consider the application of the Villas at Keenbrook LLC for a comprehensive permit. The property is located at 910 and 934 Temple Street, parcels number 038-123-000 and 037-024-000 on the assessor's map, consisting of 18.7 acres in the Residential Compatibility District, the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, and Wetlands Protection Overlay. So there are 3 different zoning districts that affect this property. The applicants propose to construct 28 single-family homes, including 7 that will be affordable, that meet the definition of affordable housing under State Law Chapter 40B. The application can be reviewed on our website. We also have a copy up here if somebody wants to take a look while you're here. Anyone with a disability who needs special accommodation should always feel free to contact the Board of Appeals office to request accommodation so that you can attend and participate in these hearings. This meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance or participation is provided, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if there are technological problems unless required by law. This meeting will be broadcast live in real time on our Duxbury Access channels. And for more information about that, you can go to the town website or search for us on Duxbury YouTube. And then there are also remote access instructions on the public hearing notice via Zoom. And so people are encouraged to use that if they wish. So I'm going to just review the correspondence on this. We have some, and there probably will be more before we're done, but I at least want to go through what we have. The typical way we do these hearings is we go through first what we've received from other town boards and so forth, comments. Hi, Wayne. If you want to take over, you're welcome to. We'll go through all the comments, and then we'll hear from the applicant. So in the correspondence, at least that I have at this point in my pile, we have a memo from Nancy Rufo, the Conservation Administrator, who said she's reviewed the submittal and determined that the proposed work falls within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. She said the applicant filed an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation on August 5th, 2025, and received an order of resource area delineation on October 14th, 2025, which we have a copy of for the record. Filing a notice of intent with conservation will be required for the work detailed in the comprehensive permit application. She notes that the applicant has requested that certain local wetlands bylaw and regulations will be waived. I recommend that the ZBA not waive the local bylaw and require the applicant to adhere to the local standards to the greatest extent possible. So we do have the copy of the resource area delineation in our packet. We have an email to the Board of Appeals from the Water Department indicating that a hydraulic model assessment conducted by the town's own consultant will be required. They need this to confirm that adequate system pressure and fire protection is available at the proposed site at 901 and 934 Temple Street. We have a memo from the health agent, Lauren Hachey. The proposed development at 910 and 934 Temple Street includes 28 single-family homes, each consisting of 3 bedrooms, which are proposed to be served by individual on-site septic systems. The proposed lots will be required to have a percolation test and soil evaluations performed by the Board of Health or their agent present, and soil absorption systems designed and approved by the same. The applicant indicates that each system will be designed and permitted in accordance with Title V. The property does fall within Zone 2 wellhead protection area, therefore nitrogen load calculations will be required to be performed based on the parameters established in Title V. If the Duxbury supplemental rules and regulations cannot be met, the applicant will need to approach the Board of Appeals for a waiver request. I believe that is all. Do we have additional correspondence?
The last two, these are the last 2 that I emailed.
You know what? I'm
And they're
sorry.
in the new books. That's okay.
I'm sure I did not print them out.
That's okay.
It's
They're
been
in
that
the
kind
new
of
books,
week.
just in case.
Okay. So we have a memo from the Planning Board, from Kristen Rappe, the chair. At the meeting of the Planning Board on January 12th, 2026, the board voted unanimously to defer the comprehensive permit application to the Zoning Board of Appeals. During their discussion, the board reiterated the items detailed in their letter to the Select Board dated August 21, 2025, regarding the site eligibility application for the project, particularly their concerns about some of the houses being very close to Route 3, and their suggestion that shared septic systems be used rather than individual septic systems to ensure water quality. We also have a memo from the Design Review Board dated January 14th. At the board's regular meeting on January 7th, the Design Review Board considered the project for the first time. We reviewed and discussed the materials on file from a design point of view. No representatives from the project sponsors were present to explain the project or answer our questions. The architectural plans and drawings on file are labeled as schematic only and subject to change. They do not show exterior dimensions, building height, setback information, or materials, and there are no elevations or sections. There are no grading plans. There are no landscaping plans. The siting of utilities seems merely conceptual, and some utility elements are not shown. The computer-generated images of the proposed dwellings impressed us generally as uninspired and not at all distinctive. Moreover, the prominence of the garages, together with their placement, is unattractive, and they should be redesigned. Moreover, as detached dwellings, they will be sited very close to adjoining dwellings and will feel crowded and cramped. Some of us concluded that the appearance of the project could be substantially improved if the sponsors would consider combining units into multifamily structures or even a row house configuration. We are skeptical that dwellings of the sizes and layouts shown in the schematics can, in fact, be constructed as, quote, affordable within the meaning of the law without sacrificing quality of construction materials and finishes. We also note that some of the schematic plans show flex rooms that are quite sizable and could readily be used as bedrooms. We bring this to your attention because it has implications for determining the required capacity of septic systems. In summary, this project is not yet sufficiently developed to permit us to give it a thorough review. We recommend that the ZBA require the applicant to submit final, complete, non-schematic architectural designs and then forward those to the DRB for a complete review. That, I believe, covers all the correspondence that's been received so far. And with that, I think we probably want to hear from the applicant.
Move the microphone.
Absolutely.
Good evening, members of the board. Attorney Robert Galvin. I'm representing the applicant, the villas at Keenbrook, which is from Southeastern. With me tonight is Attorney Salim Kadora. He's seated right here in the middle. And next to him is the development team leader, Mohammed Atani. Back here, we have the CFO, Rami Atani. Dan Greenberg is also on the development team. The civil engineering is being performed by McKenzie Engineering Group, and you'll see at a future meeting Brad McKenzie, and we didn't bring him tonight for a reason that'll be obvious in a moment. We also have Stephen Thornton, a professional engineer and a professional traffic operations engineer from Vanas and Associates, who's done the traffic impact assessment, which is already on file. The villas at Keenebrook, as you've seen from the conceptual plan, are currently proposed at 28 single-family homes with 3 bedrooms. We believe this is a portion of the market that is underserved. It's rare that you get an opportunity to buy a single-family home that's affordable, that's going to be standalone. That is the concept that we're going to maintain as these plans evolve, at least at this stage. The homes themselves are actually going to be located on one lot, and the homes will be condominiums. So they'll each have exclusive use areas. And I heard some reference to septic, and just to kind of clue you in, we are going to have common septic where we think we can minimize the amount of soil that's being disturbed, and there will be nitrogen loading elements to those systems designed to meet or exceed state standards, and we're going to do the best we can with the local standards. The property is 18.7 acres, as you've already identified. In addition to being in the residential compatibility district, it's in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, so that brings its own set of challenges. We are intimately aware of the PFAS issues in town and the implications of wastewater there. There's not much we can do about past circumstances, but we'll do what we can in connection with this project. There's still no federal or state standards on this, and PFAS is treated at the source and not at its at where the pollution comes from. So tonight, what we were hoping to accomplish is to tell you that we met with the planning board. We've received some of the correspondence that the town submitted when we were seeking approval for our project eligibility letter. And the comments that we received from the planning board, I think, really hit home, and we believe that the project requires some further work in redesigning. So rather than giving you a detailed presentation about the project, what we would hope to do is introduce the development team, tell you about the concept. We believe the concept will change, therefore it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend your time and energy or peer review reviewing a project that we don't intend to actually build, and to ask for you to continue this matter for a couple of months and let us come back then with plans sufficiently in advance of that 2-month period of time that give us the concept that we think fits better here. We would like you to consider appointing your peer review people. Happy to answer any questions about the project, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense. What I think it would be helpful to do is Rami has put up a little presentation here to tell you a little bit about Stonebridge Homes and some of the projects that they've done. I first met the principals involved in Stonebridge Home in Norwell, where I'm town council. They purchased a project on, I would say, is probably one of the most difficult sites I've ever seen, Tiffany Road, which is close to the Hanover line. Tiffany Road has elevated groundwater, steep grades, absolute nightmare of a site, and Mohammed and his crew bought that property and developed it, and we had very little problem there. And that's almost amazing, because we have a retaining wall that holds back the stormwater system and a retaining wall that holds back the wastewater disposal system in an area with high groundwater. I didn't even think it could be built, and there was litigation, but Mohammed bought it after the litigation and was not a part of that. So, and I've also seen Mohammed in Rockland, where he's done other projects, and those were single-family homes, I believe, in Rockland. But do you want to click through some of the highlights there, Rami? Okay, so this is a project over in LeBaron Hills, and you know them better than me. Do you want to describe them, Rami? Okay.
Mohammed, you want to do it?
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Mohammed Itani. I'm part of the development team for Keenebrook, the villas at Keenebrook. Stonebridge has been in business for more than 35 years, mostly active on the South Shore. We're very active on Route 24, as well as Route 3 and Route 95. The previous slide mentioned the towns that we've already worked on and the towns that we're currently working on. Today we have 6 active communities. The size of our communities vary from 20 to 300 units. We're mostly single family or attached townhouse units. We have over the years, we developed to a sizable company, and you can see from the number of towns we worked on, we're very experienced. We listened to the planning board. Planning board, brought up some issues that we can live with, and that's what we referred to earlier, that we're going to try to meet some of those things that they requested. So to go over some of our communities, Rami, if you don't. So the first one is, this one is in Lakeville, right across from the LeBaron Hills Country Club. This project was a failed project. It's 386 units. The original developer built 100 of them, and we came in, we took over the project, and we're almost towards the end of the project. It's a very successful project in town, and it's a mixture of townhouses, single family, and 55 and older. So it has a mixture of 3 different type of units. Some of them are duplexes, some of them are attached townhouses, and some are single families. Next one. This project is the project that Attorney Galvin referred to. This is in Norwell. We finished this project a couple of years ago. It was 24 single-family detached condos. So this is on a single lot, and that's what we envision for the villas at Keenbrook. In order for us to meet the recommendations of the planning board, we believe a concept mirroring this concept will actually work better for the property. Lakeland Farms is in Norfolk. One of the recommendations of the planning board was, have we considered what's called a pocket neighborhood? We've done a lot of those pocket neighborhoods. You can see the houses centered around a green with open space around the community. This community was 36 houses, if I remember correctly. Next one. Cochise Estates, it's an active community that we're building today. It's 92 units. We're at 60, so we have around 32 more to go. The site is a combination of duplexes as well as single family. Again, clustered. This is a 100-acre property. Has some of the same challenges that the property on Temple Street has. So we had conservation issues. We have high water table. We have a lot of those same challenges that we have on Temple Street. Next one. This is an active project as well. This is 148 single-family homes in the town of Bridgewater. We're built around 100 so far. We still have 48 to go. It's an awesome project. This project used to be a farm for Cumberland Farms. They used to have some milk production and cows and stuff like that over there. It borders the Taunton River. So I'll invite the board to visit any of our communities, and if they will give us a notice ahead, we can meet them over there. This project is in Easton. That's where I live, and that's where our offices are. This community is called Tanglewood Estates. It's mostly single family. market rate, all market rate. Half of the project was on 1 acre lots, and the other half was a cluster zone with half-acre lots. This one is in Norfolk again, Lakeland Hills. This is another one of those challenging sites that we had to do with a lot of. We had to deal with a lot of ledge, but the project is well on its way. Out of the 44 units that are proposed that are being built over there, we're at number 30 at this point. We have 14 more to go. This is another project in Norfolk. Again, it's a pocket neighborhood. It's 36 units, 40 units. It has a common area. You can see the common meeting place, I guess, for the neighbors, as well as how we designed the community, to center around a green. And it's this project was done 3 years ago. Weymouth, we just wrapped up this project at the Air Force Base at Union Point. Now it's called. This community is right next to the sports complex. If any one of you go there, please drive through the community. We're just finishing it up now, finishing the landscaping. And, again, this is another pocket neighborhood. Those are 45 units. They sit on 5 acres. The lots are less than 5,000 square feet. Have attracted a lot of professionals and that live over there. It's close to the train station. So what we have on this. So anyway, so Stonebridge has currently 6 active communities, and we're actually starting a few others in Avon, in Norton, as well as in Holbrook, and where?
And Norfolk.
And Norfolk, yes. We've done a lot of communities in Norfolk as well as Easton. Those tend to be the towns that we've built a lot of communities at. We promise to be a good neighbor. We promise to work with the town. If the first page showed the number of towns we worked in, please feel free to reach out to those towns, building commissioners, planning boards, ZBAs, ask them what do they think of our communities and how our response has been to any issues or concerns that come up. We're a company of 30 employees. We have 3 engineers, an attorney, an architect, or an architectural designer, and then the rest of the support staff. We do not own any equipment. We actually manage the construction. Everything is subbed out to local subcontractors. So we're mostly a management company, a developer and a management company. If the board will have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. This is just a quick thing about 40B. I guess this is more for the neighbors as well as the people listening. I'm sure the board is very much familiar with the criteria of what 40B is and the requirements.
And
Thank
this
you.
is a summary of who we believe would be interested in the affordable units and who would qualify. So this is the profile of those purchasers. Okay.
So can we talk a little bit about the extension and
Yeah.
your plans for that?
Yes.
You mentioned trying to respond to the concerns of the planning board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at least as concerned about the comments from the design review board.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd like to see you take some of those to heart.
Yeah, because the plans are really conceptual, they don't have what they really needed to do the review.
It's more than that when you read their memo. It's about the housing mix. There's a variety of comments in there that I think would be worth taking a look at.
Okay?
I don't want to speak for anybody else on this board, but I can tell you that I take design review board comments really seriously because I find often design solutions are really the way to deal with density. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Fair warning.
I'm assuming if we're going to bump a couple of months so you can kind of rethink what you want to do, that the 180-day period would actually start from the next hearing.
We will
No.
agree to that and place that in writing.
Yeah, I figured that, I just wanted to get that kind of on the record. Do board members have any questions of this applicant you'd like to take up?
Could I just add one other thing?
Of course.
Mohammed is related to Munir Tayara, who did the other project on Temple Street. So, yes.
We're sister companies,
Right. So, and this site, if you don't remember where it is, if you know where the Habitat for Humanity project
Yep.
is, that was a 40B. It's 6 all affordable units. Some are super affordable, some are mid, and then some are 80% AMI, I believe. There's no community housing there, so all of those units, it's directly across the street from this. And the highway forms the largest abutter, so.
I don't have any current questions.
Do you?
I do not. No.
One thing I'm going to insist on, when you, I know you're not resubmitting, but when you amend your submission, the waiver list, I'm not too hung up on this right now, but before we act on this project, that waiver list is going to have to be cleaned up.
Yeah, we'll
Because
have
we
a
don't do
brand
plan
new waiver
waivers here.
list.
We don't do that. So it's not adequate for you to just give us a big, long list of stuff that you think you need to waive and just say, as shown on the plans. We need to know, when you're asking for dimensional waivers, how much of a waiver? So we're not just writing a blank check for a project. So really take a look at the waiver list. That's just not acceptable in the form that it's in. I was not happy with the memo in here from your 40B consultant lecturing us about how we can use peer review consultants. This board is very experienced and we didn't need that memo, so we will decide how we're going to use our peer review consultants. Just laying my opinion on the table.
Okay.
We do know what we're doing.
I'll start with an apology if
Just-
we didn't, obviously, part
I
of
was-
the application is for the community more than it is for the board. So, you know, if.
But it's the board that's going to decide your project.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, I do not have a problem with going ahead and securing our peer review consultants now. Obviously, we would not want you communicating with them until we get a revised plan. So although we could be ready to go, the deal is not that you can be working with them on something that we haven't seen yet. So I just
Okay.
want to be clear about that. I think based on what we have, we're certainly talking about site civil review and probably someone to review the traffic impact assessment. And I don't know right now what else we may need, because until we see the revised plan, it's a little hard to say we might need X,
We'll
Y,
have
and Z.
more architecturally developed plans, and we'll do the 3D renderings so that you get a view of the units and styles all the way around.
Yeah. I want you to really pay attention to that design review board memo. Just-
Do you want the garages forward or back?
Not how I feel about snout houses.
I don't even know why you asked that.
But it's more than that. It's really the housing mix, the placement of units in relation to each other. There's some good stuff there. And, you know, frankly, their comments, at least for me, and I've been on this board since 2008, their comments have been more helpful to me grappling with 40Bs than any other board. Just laying my cards on the table. And I try to advocate for what they're saying, because I think they're trying to make a better project. I don't think they're trying to kill 40Bs.
Just for the record, The planning board invited us to attend the meeting.
Yep.
And we did attend it. We did not hear from the design board, so we
a
were
little
not
different
aware that
process.
there was a meeting.
I understand completely. It's a little different process with design review. We tend to sort of bump stuff to them, but I think perhaps the staff in the office, Patty or Jim, could maybe help coordinate on a time for you to meet with them. I'm asking you to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Town council, do you have any comments before I open it up? Is there anybody here, did you want to speak, Amy?
No, I don't have to.
Okay. Just want to know if you have any input.
Just, I get one.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Thank you, Amy Questle, Town Council. I am a little confused about peer review. So you are going to pick your peer review tonight, but the plans will not be sent to peer review until after the next meeting or after they submit it to you?
I don't want a conversation going on with the peer review consultant about this project on plans we have not seen. So all I'm agreeing to do is say, we can certainly procure and engage, but they can't give us a quote because we don't know what we're asking them to review. So I think in substance, what we can say is, yes, we kind of know, we will get something going on engaging peer review, but we can't actually have them do anything until there's a resubmitted plan that they can look at.
Understood.
I'm sure you can understand, we don't
that
want you
clears it up.
communicating with them over something we've not seen.
Definitely. And my question was, how are we going to get a proposal from them if the plans are going to be changed?
So I think that at least the site civil can probably take a look at the site, understanding it's not going to be more than 28 units, and probably at least give us a sense of what that review would be. But of course, it's going to be conditional until we have the new plan.
And traffic shouldn't change because the units
Right.
are not going to change. It's going to be 28.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I feel like we can get something
Yep.
ready. I'm just trying to be cooperative here, but that's as far as we can go.
Exactly. That's good.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is there anybody here this evening who would like to address the board or ask a question? Sure, go ahead.
Sheila Lynch Benton in West Street and Temple. I've been involved in commenting on 40Bs on Temple Street, and originally Harlow Brook, which it's unclear to me if your relative did Harlow Brook or Feinberg Boggs, which one?
They
But-
did the 40B, the small one on the right-hand side, the Habitat one is.
Oh, that's
is
Feinberg
it-
Boggs, yeah.
I don't know
So
what it's called, but-
Harlow Brook is further down across the street from the old Simmons farm, which was a big brouhaha. And it came in similar plot plan to this. And I was on the historical commission, and I wrote a letter to the ZBA talking about the historical nature and the agrarian nature of Temple Street, and how there's old growth trees, there's stone walls, there's hundreds of years of old farms there,
Right.
and that the streetscape of this development and how it meets the street and how you view it from a car makes a big difference. And I'd like to compare Checkerberry, which went up, I was on affordable housing, and we put a 50-foot mature eastern white pine zone between Lincoln Street and the development. So you couldn't see the development from Lincoln Street. And compare that to Fieldstone Farm, which I call Naked Mole Rat, and that the whole site was clear cut. The houses were plopped on top, and that will take 100 years to make that section of Lincoln Mayflower back. So looking at some of the pictures here, a lot of their developments are clear cut, and I just, so early in the process, the way, and I'd like to congratulate the ZBA on your order of conditions on Harlow Brook. I drove by there today. They left the stone walls. They did 20-foot mature tree setback. They're building a stone entrance. They're keeping agrarian stone walls throughout the project. And believe it or not, is kind of fitting with Temple Street. I'm shocked compared to where they started out. And I don't know if this team, just starting, is aware of the history of Temple Street and the 40Bs on Temple Street. So I just hope that early in your process, maybe you look at what happened, Harlowbrook. So there's two projects on Tremont Street. One is Duxbury Woods in southern Duxbury, and one is the Reserve in northern Duxbury.
Right.
The Reserve, the condos are right on 3A. Cars put their lights right in bedroom windows. In my opinion, that streetscape is ugly as hell. There's not a tree there. It's clear cut. And then in southern Tremont,
They weren't allowed to put them on the street
they weren't.
for line of sight.
Oh, to put trees in?
Along, they could have blocked it, but it wasn't allowed, just so you know.
I don't know the history
Well,
of
I'm
it.
just throwing it out there. It was to
Okay.
keep their line of sight going for when they come out, so they can
And
see
I don't know the
left
history.
and right.
I don't know the problems you're going to run into with the history of this
Right.
intersection or whatever, but I just hope that the Duxbury Woods at the edge of Easton border there, it has mature trees, a nice sign. You can't see one of the houses. The prices between the Reserve at Duxbury and Duxbury Woods, they're like $500 to $1 million difference because of the streetscape, in my opinion. And so I really hope that this CBA puts, like you did on Harlow Brook, which I congratulate you on, because stone walls, beautiful landscape. So I went by these two properties today, and on the streetscape there are very mature pines, oaks. In the middle of the property is a wolf pine, and they can do one of two things. They can clear cut the 18 acres like Fieldstone Farm, and you can have a naked mole rat sand project, or they can really work with a landscape architect, do a streetscape that matches Temple Street, save a few trees, save 20 feet like you did on Harlow Brook, add stone walls, save stone walls, and keep the agrarian nature of Temple Street. It's so early in the project, but there's so many ugly 40Bs, and there's some really nicely designed 40Bs. And some of the ones I've seen here are clear cut, but I also noticed on the one Lakeland Hills in Norfolk that you saved a whole center forest in that development. And I would ask that you consider on this project, there's some gorgeous trees on these two properties, that you consider saving some of the 300-year-old trees and develop around it and save the streetscape, make it fit Temple Street, or we get a naked mole rat sand development. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone else want to address the board about this matter? Okay, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think this is 971 Temple.
Right.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Yes, I live at 971 Temple.
Can you identify yourself, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Ron Ivel,
Yep.
and I live at 971 Temple.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question on, and I don't know if you guys can answer this or not. In the aquifer zone, they required me when I built, we had to have 60,000 square feet to build a single-family house. Why is it now that we're going 28 houses on 18 acres, which, with the road, in my opinion, is probably equates to like 6 house lots? How is that possible to be able to build that that kind of a development on that small piece of property.
So I will try to answer your question.
I know it's 40B, I'm sorry, but yeah.
Well,
go
that's
ahead.
the answer. The answer is that the project was filed under a state law that allows the applicant to request a number of waivers from local requirements, including the 60,000 square foot minimum that you refer to, because the town of Duxbury has yet to achieve the 10% minimum under Chapter 40B. That's why that application is in front of us.
Okay, and where are we at with 40B requirements right now?
You know, I'm embarrassed, I don't remember right now, I didn't look it up. Does anybody know? I mean, we're probably about 7%. I would say 7-ish.
With 254 units, 10%.
Yeah, but I mean, just to give you the percentage, it's roughly 7%.
I thought it was 6 point something, that was very close to 7.
Well, it could be, but I'm just
Right.
saying about 7%.
I'm just doing rough numbers.
Okay.
Judy?
Okay.
Yes.
I think the
No,
Zone
we're
2
not doing
requirements is,
One at a
I
time.
think the Zone 2 requirements are state regulation, but
They're going to have to deal with the state
I
regulations.
would think with nitrogen reduction in their septic, they can probably meet it.
I think that's probably what they'll need to do. But for zoning purposes, they are allowed to request waivers to enable their project to go forward as long as they meet the state requirements for entry to the Chapter 40B process.
Okay, so the state requirement would be less than what we require, obviously.
The state doesn't have a minimum lot area. The state entertains applications from developers who indicate that they're going to provide housing that, developments that include affordable housing.
Right, right. Okay, I guess that answers my question, and as, I'm sorry, the previous lady that had spoken, I also agree with her as far as setting the property, if you can give some consideration to setting the development back and giving it a buffer from Temple Street. The one they're doing up the street, across from the farm, I mean, that is god-awful ugly. It's right on the road. I feel bad for the poor people that live there. You know, it's just, yeah, it just looks like row housing. I mean, if you go to Union Point, I can understand it. But, you know, I don't think it belongs in Duxbury, so I'm just want to be on the record for that.
Thank you for your comments.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
If I may, what we have on the board is what's called the by right plan that meets current zoning. Under our current zoning, we can have up to 10 single-family lots that meet the zoning regulations. The Zone 2 allows us 1 bedroom for every 10,000 square feet of area.
Right.
We have 18.7 acres, which gives us around 82 bedrooms, and we will be below that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments this evening? I think if not, we probably should be looking at calendars. Did, Attorney Galvin, did you have a date in mind that you've wanted to suggest continuing to?
As long as we have 2 months, we'll be okay. So first, convenient date to the board, 2 months from, that's.
So I'm just going to throw, I mean, that means we're looking at March. Is March 12th too soon? Do you, I mean, that's almost,
Contract meetings.
Put it on for the community, and not just that, but it's second beat from someone's fire service.
March 12th. What is the noise that we're hearing?
That's, I mean, more money out of Ronnie's pocket.
He hasn't hung up.
Oh,
He's spending more firemen.
how do we,
Hold on, let's listen, see what he says about us.
okay,
Stan went on, I thought it would.
that's okay. If March 12th, does March, all the, on board members, does March 12th look all right for all of you?
Right
It would be a regular meeting night for us.
Right this minute it does.
I can be there virtually.
Okay, virtual you've got. What about down here?
I'm okay right this minute, for sure.
Okay,
Seems to thread the needle for me.
okay. Freeman?
Yep.
You're not planning any exotic trips?
On I wish.
Wayne, so far it looks like you're on board, as long as those court people don't ask you to get on TV?
That's correct.
Okay. So if March 12th works, then we could continue this to March 12th at 7:30. The only thing I'm going to ask is, I guess before we lock this date in, when can we expect to see the revised plan?
Yeah, we already, after we met with the planning board, we asked our engineer to relook at the design and try to meet some of the requirements. I know for sure we're gonna move into a shared septic system as opposed to individual septic systems. And probably have the houses not on individual lots, have one big lot that have
detached
single
condos, right.
detached condos. And then we're gonna change the architecturals. The plans that we submitted tend to have wider homes, mostly around 60 to 62 feet wide. We're probably gonna go to a narrower and deeper design that will allow us to keep a lot of open space. So
Will you
we're gonna.
consider some mix of housing units, some single-family detached and some attached?
It's too small. The number is too little to try to do a mix. We'll take a look at the final plan, and we will welcome your comments. It seems I would like to keep it all as single-family detached.
Okay, and I'm asking you to consider a mix.
That's fair.
We've had zoning in this town since 1973 that encourages some higher density, actually not much less than this, in exchange for a mix of residential use types. And some of the nicest developments in this town are those planned developments.
Such as, which one? Just curious.
Trout Farm
Okay,
was the first.
got it.
There's a planned, Bay Farm is a planned development.
Right. I think Trout Farm's awful, but anyway.
Oh, well, I don't. You don't have to live there, that's good.
Thank God, I know.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's the architecture that's not.
Oh, right.
I think that the question was, when were we going to look at the plans?
The week before would be great. I actually spent a few days looking at this. Or as long as I had it by Monday, it'd be great that week.
Now, we will do our best that you'll have them at least a week before.
A week
Yeah.
would be fine,
Excellent.
because we want to get them to our peer review consultant, who obviously is not going to have a report ready the night that you come back, but at least he could be reviewing it. Okay. Jill, did you have another comment?
The slide about who's going to move into a 40B, I spent 5 years on affordable housing. The Bodie at Island Creek was for seniors. It sold out in 3 days. And the senior center panel has projected that in the next 5 years, Duxbury will be 40% seniors. And there's a dearth of first floor bedroom senior housing. So in Norwell or we're at Canton, wherever they're building, it may be young people moving in, but there's no adequate senior first floor condos. There's a few in Duxbury, but there's an enormous market for them. And almost half the town will be seniors in the next decade. So I would encourage you to do first floor bedroom units if you can. Thank you.
So can I have a motion to continue this public hearing to March 12th?
I would move to continue the public hearing to March.
Oh, I'm sorry,
right.
Amy, did you want
I
to?
would move to listen to Amy.
I would move to listen to Amy, too.
I second that.
Are you going to discuss peer reviewers? How are you doing that? Or-
I was planning to ask staff to contact Pat Brennan to get Pat Brennan's the PE who typically consults to town boards, and we'll let Rob Nagy at VHB know this is in, and we can get a quote from him. Right now, that's really all I'm prepared to address.
All right, then I'm going to move to continue the public hearing on the Village of Keenbrook until March 12th.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, Judy.
Aye. Freeman.
Or Sunday.
I guess we will see you all then on March 12th, and we look forward to your revised submission.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any minutes?
Somerset's a planned development, Southscape's a planned development, the little one on West Street is a planned development, Bay Farm's a planned development,
Yep.
Ocean
Woods.
Woods is a planned development.
West Farms, is Weston Farms a plan?
Weston Farms, it was a cluster of single family.